Hey, everybody. Welcome in to Wood's Wild Wonders. It's me, it's Wood. And thank you for being here. Um, Hopefully, you're ready to go on a little bit of a wild ride today. Going to discuss the infinite loop, and some maybe time travel. Either way, stick around, stay tuned, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Oh, and I have a guest that I'll introduce in just one moment. Okay, welcome back, and welcome to Woods Wild Wonders. Woods Wonders, whatever you want to call it, WWW. Um, I'm sure there's probably some copyright there, but whatever. Um, and with me today, I have none other than Jay with Overplay Podcast. I guess I should let you introduce yourself, but
That's all right. Hi, I'm
um,
Jay.
and
Welcome.
as I mentioned, he is with Overplay Podcast. So if you want to check him out over there on mostly, what are you, Spotify and Apple?
Mostly, and YouTube, mostly, if
Oh,
I'm being
okay.
honest. Do most of my stuff on YouTube, but it can be found on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Oh, good. You have such a bassy voice. I have to adjust that real quick.
Oh,
But
my. It's
you're
just
such a
not
man,
normal. Usually it's so high. So,
such a man's man. And anyway, so we had talked a little bit before. In fact, to full transparency, because we're in an age of transparency, we attempted to record this episode before, and I'm picky, so I didn't. I wanted to do it again. Let's just say that because I am picky. Um, so here we are. So time travel in the infinite loop. So what are your okay? I haven't brought up the loop to you yet. That's a new piece that I'm
okay.
going to discuss with you. But what are your thoughts on time travel? Is it doable yet? And if it's not, will we ever get there? Or has it already been done?
I don't think it's ever been done. I don't think you can physically go back in the past. And I think if you do, it's one of those things where it's like you went to a different dimension or a different timeline in which you did something and then you're able to make a change, not the current timeline. Because then you get into that. I don't know if this is the infinite loop, but like if you never changed the past, like if you went back to the past and changed something, then you were never there to change something in the past. And so then there is no loop because obviously if you change something, then that means you didn't go back in the
Well,
past to have you change it.
there's actually a series. The first series, or a series, it's called Dark, I believe. It's a German sitcom, not a sitcom because I would suggest comedy. It's a German thriller. So it's in German. I put it in English. It's about time travel. And it kind of discusses this. If you haven't seen that series, I think it's 4 seasons. It is fantastic. And it ends, and there's no ability to, I mean, I guess they could like add more, but it ends, in my opinion, it ends perfectly. So don't touch it. It's ended, it's over, and it's perfect. But it talks about time travel, and it is wonderful. So they have an example of the loop in that. The other one is your favorite show. I know this is highly rated amongst your favorite shows of all time because it is accurately titled as well, and it's Back to the Future.
I hate. Well, here's the thing. It's not that it's a bad movie. The name of the movie is stupid, and
It's
I will still argue that he never goes to the future.
Well, he does go to the future in the second
No, yeah, but he's the main character, so he doesn't go to the future. He goes to the present. The
one.
movie starts in the present.
Right.
He
It goes,
goes back to the past, and then goes back to the present.
which is
That's
the
not
future in the past.
it. No, it depends on who is the main character and uh, who you're seeing it through.
Well, to be
It's
fair, when he made the movies, um, he never expected them to be such a cult classic as they are, or to be taken as seriously. It was more made for fun. If you look at some of his other movies that he did prior to that, they really didn't do much at all. So
Yeah.
fun little fact. But anyway, so they also have a bit about this. So do you remember when Marty McFly is at the dance with his parents?
When he's trying to have sex with his mom. Yeah.
Right.
Keep going.
Yeah. He's in there and she's hugging up on him and everything. So he's got
Family friendly.
He's got to get them to be together, right? Oh, your camera cut, but I know it'll come back.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So they need so one of the guitarist gets his hand cut, and he says we need someone to play. So Marty McFly is like, yeah, I'll play guitar. You know, I know how to do a little. And then he goes on this riff and he plays. Is it Johnny Be Good? I think.
Oh yeah, I think it is Johnny Be Good.
He plays that, and the Berry brother, he calls Chuck Berry and is like, you got to hear this, man. So he plays the song for him and over the phone. So he hears it. So now here's the question. So Marty McFly in the present hears that song, learns that song, goes to the past and plays that song. And then that song gets repeated because they hear it and then it's created and it's published mainstream. But then in the present again in 1985, Marty hears it to learn it to play it. So who actually made the song?
Yes.
Because that loop will exist. So who makes the song? And in the series Dark, it's kind of the same thing. In the series Dark, there's a book written about time travel. And the guy that writes the book is presented with the book by somebody else. And he's presented this book actually a couple times during the time. I don't want to ruin the show. It's fantastic. Go see it. But he at one point says, at some point, I supposedly wrote this book, but I have no memory of ever writing this book as it's presented to him. Because it was given to him in the past and in the future and in the present. So when did the book ever get written? Or has it just been a thing? Which is,
I don't know. It's always something I daydream about, is that my future self will give me something good that I can actually do something with.
And I mean, potentially, could we be living in a loop?
I don't know.
Like, I've already been here before. Now I'm talking about the loop, which is going to spark like a thought and idea, and maybe that thought and idea is what sparks the loop to begin with, to bring back to be like, hey, plant this idea of a loop, and then we're just living in a loop. I don't know.
See, that would break my brain. I'll be thinking about that all day. Of just like, what? Well, like, I actually have a genuine question. Like, what is something, if you went back into the past, we're talking about time travel here, you went back to the past, what is something you would tell your younger self to like help you further along? Where like you could give them a song, or you could give them like, hey, in 2008 buy a house. Like, I mean, you could do really a bunch of things, but like, what is something you
invest in real estate?
Yeah, right.
I would have, because now I've lived a considerable amount of time beyond when I was 18, so I would go back to when I was like early 20s and tell my then self, say, like, can I actually speak to myself? So like in Looper, have you seen the show?
Yeah,
Looper?
I have not.
Looper. Okay. So Looper, he goes around and he jumps back and forth in the timeline. He eventually ends up meeting his own self and has a discussion with himself. And I won't ruin that. It's an older show and it's pretty good too. But so I got my dog yelling at me over here. So I would tell myself to take a different career path, and I don't want to get too personal because I don't want to like out anybody, but I would take a different career path and go do something differently.
Okay.
So there was a fork in the road for me as a youth.
Did you pick it up?
Huh?
Did you pick it up, or you just leave it?
No, I left it because I figured someone else can step on it.
Bad joke? No, bad you. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, at least once a show we can explain.
What a Dungeons and Dragons stupid joke. There you go. That was it. Keep going.
So I had a choice to make could go this way, I could go that way, made this or that, and I would now hindsight, obviously, I would take the other path, and I would go back and tell my past self take that path. Not that it would be easier or maybe even any better, but it just would it would be better. It would have built for a better future. But I mean, not that my future, my present, not going back to the future on us, but my present.
Yeah, I would have gotten into porn too. I think that I should have taken that path.
Yeah, they always need humiliation porn.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody's got to be the small one. So, but that's what. What would you do?
That's pretty hard. But I think that I would I think I would give me songs to write for other people that were like very popular songs, whether that's like a Taylor Swift song, right?
Okay, so the only flaw in that I see is we know that song as it exists now. So if you go back, like you can find a genre of music for almost every decade. Like it's that style. So let's say 2025 Jay jumps back to 1990-ish Jay, because it's somewhere in there. You give yourself the lyrics and you say, okay, this song's a banger in 2024, because we don't know yet in 25, but in 2024 this song is bad, and here's the lyrics for it, do it. Well, Jay of 1995 is going to create it for the genre of 1995. That probably won't hit the same as it would in 2024.
Yes, I agree. No, I would write it for those artists and write it for them before they have come up with it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I still struggle with, like, for example, I don't know, Sound of Silence, let's say. Okay, that was written
way before my time, but keep going. Yeah,
but then it wasn't rewritten, but the music was played with it. That's really the only way I could see you doing that. But that's like forward thinking, where if you take a song from 24 and put it back, who would you give it to?
No, so I would give it to me, and then the main character, would then go to, like, I would email, I would eventually send the song to Taylor Swift a little bit before she wrote it. Not a whole lot. A little bit before.
So you're going back, like you're taking Taylor Swift's song, you're going back, and then you're giving it to 1995 Prince and saying, put these lyrics to the song.
Yo, low key, actually, that's actually genius. That's almost better.
That's what I'm thinking. Like if they, but the problem is those words, that vibe is now, and I don't know if some of those would hit then, you know?
Yeah, but could you imagine?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm giving Prince all sorts
of lyrics.
Even Michael Jackson.
And it's some little 5-year-old white boy. Like, that would be awesome. Did you be thought of as a prodigy? That's genius.
Yeah.
I would bust the Diddy parties before.
Ooh. Yeah, you got to go way back.
Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein's island. I'd blow the whistle on that. You could play psychic by just giving notes to your previous self.
Right, but if you, let's say, like the Jeffrey Epstein thing, like you're a kid when that's happening, so they're just gonna be like, "Oh, you want to visit Island, little boy?"
Yeah,
like you're a victim all of a sudden.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I go. So, Bill Clinton seems like a nice guy. I also apologize for my camera.
I think they're gonna blow you off with.
Yeah, they are. Literally. Something different. Sorry, something different. Yeah.
So okay,
but like you could if you wrote down a bunch. So think of how Nostradamus got extremely famous. Like obviously he was a pretty well thought of guy before, but all of a sudden like his books sold like crazy because people thought it was the end of the world and all that other stuff. Right. If you could just give yourself notes on things that happen in the future, and then you can get on knowing. So you want to go?
So you want Back to the Future Part 2?
Exactly.
Marty takes the book, the almanac. Doesn't he take? Isn't it an almanac that he takes back?
Yeah, an almanac. Yeah.
And he gives it to himself, or tries to, and then because like his future generation's an idiot, but Biff gets it, and then I think it's like but then at some point like in Back to the Future Part 2, you alter the timeline enough that I think it messes it up that the rest doesn't matter. Because if you get too successful or you do too much influence, I think you can cause a rift in the timeline.
I agree. But again, if you gave yourself that, you could bet against the airline industry in 2011 or 2001. 2011. Be 10 years too late. You could bet against the housing market and then invest into real estate. So I would give myself an almanac. I am going to get almanac. I will give myself an almanac of God damn it. I'm going to give myself an almanac of all the stuff that I would want. Or that could benefit me. I would just give myself an almanac.
So now, to shift gears real quick, because we're just about out of time. This is something we talked about, and this new discussion has created all sorts of new ideas for me. But you posed this question before, and we've talked about this years before too, multiple times. But if you go back in history, anytime at any point, when are you going back?
Do I have a camera to take pictures?
No, you just go back. Like
otherwise, a Diddy party would be a good one. Like that's instant money. That's instant money in today's. I think.
But you're going back, and you can't take electronics in the machine because it won't fit through. It won't go through the wormhole without creating a catastrophe. So no electronics. You just have to go back.
Okay, I've got a couple, so it's kind of hard for me.
Okay.
And this camera's gonna kill me. So I would love to watch the 300 fight. The Spartans. Okay. That would be dope. Storming the beaches of Normandy.
Ooh,
that would be dope. Watching Jesus turn water into wine. Dope.
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest one would be the pyramids, because I think that has a bigger potential for blowing your mind, right? Like if like aliens did build it, that would like fuck you up. Like that would be wild.
I agree. So I'm kind of along that. I would go back even further, almost like the dawn of time on this Earth. I want to see that the dinosaurs that actually existed and roamed our Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know that they were here. I want to know they existed, and I want to know that it was actually here and they weren't part of some other meteoroid that hit ours that combined together and clustered, and that's just we have the remnants of them. I want to know that they existed. I also want to know what they sounded like.
Yeah.
I also want to make sure that we've got them accurately depicted in the movies, because I don't know that we do. It's cool, but what if they all just sounded like ducks?
What have you ever seen the one with the it's a T-Rex and he goes like you just really don't know what he sounds like?
Yeah.
I agree with that, and I would love to see it because there's like actual like a job where these like people come up with what dinosaurs look like based on the bones,
right?
And they gave them a skull one time, and they did like these crazy colors, and it looked all different. They ended up telling them, "Hey, this is actually a hippo." And they were so far off that I would love to see what dinosaurs actually look like, sounded like. I think that would be pretty dope. Yeah, exactly.
Like, and the few T-Rexes we found were just like abominations. They were just like born wrong.
Yeah.
Like their arms are short, but there's like 7 of them.
Or they're just like covered in pretty feathers, which it's hard to like take it seriously. If they were all pink feathers, you would be like, oh, that's not that scary. You know what I mean? Like
maybe the existence of a unicorn actually
that would be dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dragons are another one that like ended up all in the same or in the world at around the same time, and all have very similar depictions for the most part. It would be cool to like go back and see if those were real. That'd be dope.
Yeah, and maybe that's why all the others went extinct, because who's going to be the dragon?
Exactly.
Okay, so that's in the past. What if you could go into the future? Where are you going?
So I know we semi-disagree on. I would want to go 100 years in the future, 150 tops, to see if we are currently fighting robots due to AI. Did ChatGPT turn against us, and now we have to fight him?
We
And
just
is Elon Musk their ruler? Like, I need to
okay.
know.
Well, he might be a robot. He's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So he very much could be an AI robot plotting our deaths. See, you're right. We do disagree slightly. I want to go far enough ahead that nobody remembers me. So, like, my child, my youngest, if she makes it to 100, she's 104. That's still like she would have a memory of me.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe her great grandchild ahead. So we're talking maybe 250 years from now, close to 300 years, all for the same reasons. Really, I want to go that far ahead. I would also really like to jump like 1,000 years ahead and
That'd be
see,
wild.
like, are we still around? Do we just nuke the whole planet? Do we now fall into the Matrix and everyone's just a pod underground? And which, other than the Matrix one, all the other Matrix weren't that good, but we're just these pods being run underground somewhere. And or if you haven't seen the series Silo on Apple TV, I highly recommend it. It's about the colony that lives underground because the Earth and the atmosphere is toxic, so they have to live underground. It's really pretty cool. So go check that out. It's 2 seasons in. Just second one just ended. But anyway, not that I work for Apple, which I should. Let me review your
Come
show.
on, Apple, please.
Where are you? Can't even get an intro to the podcast.
Yeah.
We're trying to get.
I do think that that's an interesting thing. I think 100 years, I still gain something out of it. I think is also the reason why I would do it. Is like I would see if AI does take over the world, like, hey, maybe I need to start planning stuff accordingly. Because I mean, in all honesty, there's a very slight possibility we live to 130. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, sure, but I like even if let's say that I've got, I don't know, 80 years left to live. That's a long time, but what's my quality of life at that point? When I hit 100, what's my quality of life? Why do I care?
well, I don't know, because maybe medical stuff will come far along that you have a good quality of life. It can, like, a little bit of the
I think the only problem with that is, like, then we become robots because, like, the body is going to deteriorate, like it's going to wear down. So now we start becoming bionic.
not if you got stem cells. You know what I mean? Cyberpunk? You don't want to be cyberpunk a little bit? Dude, anything that can give me superpowers, please attach to my body. For sure. My body sucks. Like, give me a cooler arm.
Yeah, absolutely. I legs. I would like stronger legs. Oh yeah, we're singing the songs now. I would like stronger legs.
Yeah.
Like let me jump like I don't know, something that jumps really high, a kangaroo.
Put fat in my ass without it having any medical ramifications for my heart. That's what I want. Okay, like, that's what I want. If I was to change things, I would have a bigger butt. My back wouldn't be broken, and I would look less big. Like, eventually, we're gonna have those type of superpowers, and I just can't wait. Medical will come that far along.
Hopefully, it's sooner than later, because otherwise, like, I don't want it at 120 when I'm like crippled and falling apart. Like, I want it where I can.
That's true.
Appreciate what it is that I'm given. So.
Yeah. So hurry up, Elon. What are we doing here, man? Like, come on.
AI, put the chip in. Let's go. I'm ready for it. Give me a chip. I'll run.
That's the one I don't like.
Let's put a pin in that. We'll bring that one back on another episode because we have ran out our time. We're keeping these shortish and gonna go like that. So for those of you that have subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing and listening. If there's a topic that you would like us to discuss in the future going ahead, let us know. We will consider it. And you could see that nothing's off limits. That's not true. There's a few things. But for the most part, bring in your ideas. Let us discuss it. We'll sit around, talk about it, throw our own little twist on it, and have some fun with it. Because we want you guys to enjoy this and have a little bit of fun. Any final words, Jay, on Overplay at all?
Get and check it out. But otherwise, I'll probably see you here, and should be a good time.
Okay. And With that, friends, Woods, Wild Wonders, and Overplay Podcast, we are out of here. We will see you next time. So have a good day. Have a good night. Whatever it is you want to do. And bye.
再见。